Something a little bit different from me today, and Football Manager is now out. And let's be honest, a lot of us just tend to go towards our favourite clubs and manage those, but there's a lot of challenges to be had. In today's video, I go through 7 of the best Football Manager challenges that you can, and starting off with a quick note, just do what you enjoy. A lot of people will just stick to their football clubs because that's what they want to do, that's what I tend to do, but occasionally I'll do some of these weird challenges and they are very fun. Experiment, do what you like, it's a game, have some fun. First up is the Glory Hunter. Now, I know that this term has some slightly negative connotations, but as a manager, it is something that we should all be aspiring towards, especially in the game. I've described this as a bit of a Mourinho-style challenge, where you need to win every single trophy in the top 5 leagues and Europe. That doesn't necessarily include the Europa Conference League, of course, because that means you've messed up somewhere along the way, but Champions League, league title, domestic cups, all of them. If you want a little bit of an extra challenge, limit the time at each club. 2 or 3 seasons should do it. So, for example, if you go to Manchester City and you can't get a Champions League within 3 years, you've got to move on. Whether that's to another English club or another country, you still need to move to push yourself. Next up is the Bisto Batman, the full Sam Allardyce challenge. The idea behind this one is that you only take on clubs that are 15th or below, or the equivalent in Germany would be 14th. Clubs that are threatened with relegation and stuck in a deadly battle to stay up. The entire point is you go into these clubs, you keep them up, and then you leave at the end of the season. It's a very, very short-term save where you have very little time to get used to your players, know the system that they like to play in, and get the results before you get out. Best bit is it can be a real challenge on your manager's reputation. You might struggle to get jobs in the long term if you can't keep clubs up. Bit realistic. I don't think anyone's going to hire Big Sam anymore. If you want an extra challenge, you can not sign anyone, only come in after the last transfer window, and only join clubs that are stuck in the relegation zone. You have what you have. Do your best to get away with it. Game number 3 is Rule Britannia. The idea behind this one is that you win the top prizes in England, Scotland, Ireland, and Wales, and that means leagues and cups. Of course, once you win everything in a particular country, you need to leave that country to move on to take advantage of all the potential trophies in the next one. If you want to really push yourself, you can say win a European Cup in each one, but I really don't see... I can't even think of a Welsh team. Cardiff Met. I can't see Cardiff Met winning the Champions League. If you want an extra challenge, you have to start in either Ireland or Wales. This is because those clubs have very, very low reputations, which will make it even harder to get jobs in Scotland and England. If you start in England, if you start playing for Manchester City, then of course you're going to have a massive, massive reputation, and it's not going to be hard to get any of those jobs. If you want a challenge, start as low as you can. There's also the test of running the Roost. Sort of similar, but you need to take a non-league minnow to dominate the region that they play in. Take, for example, Farsley Celtic in Yorkshire. The goal for this would be take Farsley Celtic, climb up the leagues, and eventually become the biggest club in Yorkshire. Not very easy, and it's best tried in a top 5 league because that adds to the challenge. If you're not going to go for a top 5 league, it's quite hard to say, are there going to be clubs that, like, several clubs in one county? Especially good for top 5 leagues because they go lower and lower in the database. You can go to non-league in England, you can go to the 3rd division in Germany. Adds to the test. If you want an extra challenge, try London or Manchester. Or Liverpool, I guess. Somewhere where there are A, lots of clubs, and B, lots of very good clubs. It's a lot harder to overtake the likes of Chelsea, Arsenal, etc. than Aberdeen. Number 5 is break the game. There are a few very, very small cases in which the game can literally be broken. You can break the numbers within the game itself. Not very common, but doable. This test is basically take a massive club and try to overflow their transfer budget. If your transfer budget gets above, I think, £2.7 billion, then it resets to minus 2.7 billion. That's effectively a sign that you've won the game, nothing more that you can do. But if you want another little bit of a challenge with this, start outside Europe. Transfer fees outside Europe are impossible to come by, definitely at a higher level. That's why you can get so many bargains from Brazil, from Argentina, from Colombia. Start outside Europe, build your players to have obscene fees, and then you might just about successfully overflow your transfer budget and break the... I love it when an Amazon parcel comes mid... I love when an Amazon parcel comes mid-recording. It's fine. Number 6 is simply entitled Take the Wheel. This is one where you lose a hell of a lot of control over your football club, but it makes it a little bit more entertaining. You have to hire a director of football and give them complete responsibility over your staff, your transfers, and your contracts. That includes youth transfers, that includes all of your coaching staff, absolutely everything, top to bottom, they get control. The big challenge here is it makes squad planning incredibly hard. It's difficult at best to put a good squad together in Football Manager, especially when you are as scatterbrained as I can be sometimes. But then you get a director of football doing it, and they won't necessarily follow what you need. They won't know what you're after. If you want an extra challenge, hire the worst director of football you can find. Not necessarily talking about Victor Orta. At least he had the odd good youth transfer. But genuinely find someone with the worst attributes you can and work with whatever squad is left at the end of it. And challenge number 7, Civil War. This isn't as dramatic as it sounds. Pick a region in a country that's had a civil war, and you need to get that region to dominate football. Eventually you win when that region sweeps every single available trophy in any given season. Now, this is not referring to simply one club doing that. This is every single club in the region being lifted up. The example that I've used is Yorkshire, the War of the Roses, and afterwards, Man United and Man City have sort of dominated world football. On the other hand, if you can get the likes of Rotherham, Doncaster, Sheffield Wednesday gradually climbing the divisions, then the region looks a hell of a lot better. You can even start with Leeds United if you want a slightly easier beginning, or Sheffield United, but they're going down this season. And there's 16 clubs in Yorkshire, which means that this can be a very, very long career for you. If you want an extra challenge, you can make it so every single club in the region has to be promoted to the top tier at least once. This means getting the likes of, I think, Farsley Celtic into the Premier League, which is going to take a long time. It's the same for, I think, Harrogate, maybe York City if they're still in the database. It's not an easy save, and it'll be one that will probably take you beyond the launch of next year's game. But if you've got a lot of patience, then I feel like the Civil War one could be very fun. But ultimately, it comes down to what you think. Let me know in the comments below what you think about all of these save ideas, what you think you will do in the game, or if you're not fancying getting the game, what's stopping you from it? You might be someone that's completely new, you might have questions about it. I will happily answer any of them that you've got. I'm going to be continuing my Leeds United save on stream just because it's a little bit easier, it's a little bit more chill, and I think I'll be streaming that again this afternoon. I'm not 100% sure, but a lot more days going forwards. Hope you enjoyed the video. Yeah, I completely lost that, but it's the outro again, so it's fine. Like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed. Even become a channel member. That is hugely appreciated because it means so much more than ad revenue sometimes, and it helps the channel massively. And I'll see you next time. I knew trying without headphones would be difficult.